American Petroleum Institute Chief Executive Mike Sommers joins me now. Mike, start with New Jersey. Which candidate has the best plan to lower electricity prices in the Garden State? I ask because I live there and I know that electricity prices have gone straight up this year. Who's the best person to fix it?
Well, we've known that energy was going to be on the ballot for many, many years. And one of the reasons is that demand is going up. In fact, we expect demand to go up by 40% by 2040. And as a consequence of that, we're going to need more energy on the grid. In the state of New Jersey, one of the reasons why energy prices are going up is because they canceled a pipeline to go into the state of New Jersey. We were going to be piping clean Marcellus natural gas from Pennsylvania to New Jersey, but unfortunately, state regulations and state bureaucrats stopped that pipeline, the Penn East pipeline, from going into New Jersey. And the direct consequence of that is higher energy prices in the state of New Jersey.
But Jack Ciattarelli, the Republican candidate in New Jersey, he would build that pipeline, right?
Absolutely. What we need right now is more energy in the state of New Jersey and in the state of Virginia, because that demand is only increasing in both states. Okay. If we're going to compete, if we're going to win the war with China on AI dominance, we have to have more energy on the grid. And that means a heck of a lot more natural gas, which we have the resources here in the United States. The problem that we have now is that we don't have the pipelines that are going to take those resources from where they are to where they need to be.
You can get a pipeline to bring the stuff into New Jersey. That could be built and that could lower prices. But what about Virginia? Sure, you need energy, but which candidate is going to bring the energy to Virginia?
Well, again, the real baseload energy is going to continue to come from sources like natural gas. And if we can't build the pipelines to get the natural gas from where it is, which is right here in the Northeast, we can get it from the state of Pennsylvania, which has hundreds of years of supply of natural gas ahead of them. If we can't get it from where it is to where it needs to be, you're not going to have the resources that you need to keep prices low for American consumers. As you know,
it's the same story in New York. I mean, I live in upstate New York, and I'm sitting on top of a property which has an extraordinary supply of natural gas, but you're not allowed to frack for it. And if you did, you're not allowed to pipeline it into New York. That's what's got to change here.
That is exactly right. You have a state like Pennsylvania, which has tremendous resources. The Marcellus Shale does not stop in Pennsylvania.
That's right.
It goes into New York. We just don't have access to it because of bad governance in the state of New York.
Next one. Interior Secretary Doug Burgum. He says demand for Alaska natural gas is absolutely huge. They want to get it out there to Asia. Therefore, do we have to expand the pipelines that we're preparing to build? We want more of them and bigger pipelines, don't we?
We absolutely do. If you think about what we're using this resource for right now, we're using the oil that comes from the North Slope in Alaska, but natural gas comes with that oil. Rather than actually using that natural gas, Stuart, what they're actually doing is they're pumping it back into the ground. That makes absolutely no sense. What we need to build a pipeline from the North Slope in Alaska to the west coast of Alaska so that we can actually use that for export, not just for our Asian allies, but also for the United States as well. We could build a pipeline. We need a liquefied natural gas terminal there, and then we are supplying our allies in Asia to compete with China with clean-burning American natural gas.
To build those pipelines, you've got to get the permitting process really speeded up, because the lawyers will jump all of this and try to stop you.
That's exactly right. President Trump is doing everything he can to speed up this process, but we need Congress to step in and have a durable permitting process that all of us can support.
Great stuff. Sir, thanks very much for joining us. Always a pleasure. Mike Sommers, and you can come back anytime you like. Thanks a lot, sir.